Good afternoon and thanks for joining us today. It's an issue that has dogged the Vancouver Police Department for months. Why there had been no charges laid in connection with the Stanley Cup riot, despite the number of people turning themselves in. The VPD had promised that charges would be recommended to Crown by the end of October, and today they made good on that pledge. Our reporter Tanya Beja is live at VPD headquarters with more. They just made the announcement just a little over an hour ago, Tanya.
That's right, Sophie. Well, after months of investigating and facing much public criticism, police are now recommending charges against 60 people for their involvement in the riot. Now, the charges range from mischief and assault to arson and break and enter, and in all, they are recommending 163 charges. Now, police cannot name the suspects, so at this point, we do not know their identities, but we do know that most of them are men, 50 of them are men, 10 of them are women, and this was a very young crowd. The average age of the suspects is 21 years old. Now, looking at where the rioters came from, the biggest group came from Surrey. About a third of the suspects are from Surrey. About a dozen are from Vancouver, and the rest are from right across the Lower Mainland, Vancouver Island, even as far as Seattle. Now, police do say that video analysis has played a huge role in this investigation. As you know, they are working with a lab in the United States to help identify some of the suspects. Of the 60 that are now possibly facing charges, 70% of them turned themselves in, but police say that video analysis actually helped link many of those suspects to more crimes than they initially confessed to. Police do say that hundreds more people will likely face charges, but they are forwarding this first batch now to Crown Counsel for charge approval.
We're going to go after as many people as we can to bring them to justice, and I think that's what the victims and the City of Vancouver expects.
We anticipate, given the abundance of video and photographic evidence that is obviously available in connection with many of the accused, that some of the evidence the Crown reviews will be quite compelling. At the same time, it still remains that the Crown must independently and objectively and fairly assess the evidence that's available with respect to each potential suspect.
Now, Crown lawyers won't say how many of the 60 suspects will actually be charged or the types of sentences they'll be pushing for, but they do say we can expect to see some cases in court by the end of November. Sophie, back to you.
All right, Tanya, thanks for that. Now, as Chief Jim Chu has said in the past, part of the reason the investigation has been so lengthy is the sheer volume of evidence investigators had to look through. The VPD says it dealt with more than 30 terabytes of data. That's equivalent to 7,500 DVDs or 45,000 CDs. When comparing the 1994 riot to the 2011 riot, the VPD had 100 hours of video, VHS video, to analyze 17 years ago, while this year's riot involved more than 5,000 hours of footage on more than 100 different formats. 50 forensic analysts worked on the project from across North America and the UK, spending more than 4,000 hours on the case. And we'll have more on the story on the Stanley Cup riot charges on later broadcasts today.